Hello dear clients, today we have an exclusive interview with our surrogate mother, and I'm extremely glad to have such an opportunity and such a person to agree to show you the process with the surrogate mother and her opinion on the program, her thoughts towards this surrogacy process, and I hope you will enjoy this interview. And I want to ask as much questions as possible, and only those questions that usually intending parents like to ask me.
Please tell me, I know that you have already participated in a surrogacy program. Can you tell me your experience? Hello. Program was in 2013-14. It was in Russia. I have found the intent parents myself, not through a company, without many experience. Just in a week I have found them, they liked me, and we began. We were successful from the second try. My whole family moved there because the political situation that was there not very good in Odessa. So we rented the accommodation. So I have never seen the husband, but I was in contact with the woman. According to conditions, it was okay, but relations were not very good because they had not a good experience with surrogate. That's why they had second thoughts about me. But everything was fine then. We had a cesarean. Anyway, experience was fine. Pregnancy was good. Right now, what is your week of gestation? I'm 17-18 weeks. I feel great. In my native city, don't need to go anywhere. Very big advantage. We are glad that your pregnancy is going well. Many parents ask this. The most popular question. Why you have decided to go for a surrogate mother? For the second time. Well, I lost my mother 2 years ago, and my sister is my custody now. And my husband has one-room apartment, and we need a bigger one. So I need money for apartment for my whole family. Yes, reasonable. So parents are very glad that they can repay you for what you do, that you help with their dream with a baby. There are some myths about surrogate mothers, that they don't understand why the money are required to the surrogate mother for alcohol or something. That is absolutely not real. As I am in contact with surrogate mothers, this is usually an accommodation or house for children, for education for children, make a renovation. Another reason, we cannot afford a lot of children, and the feeling of pregnancy, being pregnant, is a very beautiful condition. So why I'm a surrogate mother is like I like the condition to be pregnant. Yeah, very interesting. And to, of course, help people. So in this situation, everybody has an advantage. Also, such a question. Very specific question, but everybody is asking that. What are the guarantees that the surrogate mother will give the baby to the parents? Because you have carried the baby, it was too difficult to give the baby. I have a reason why I do this. I need an apartment, so this is not my baby, not genetic. from my side is a guarantee that I don't keep the baby. Second case is that it's through your agency. There are lawyers and everything is documented. I don't understand where is the problem here. Very often people ask, during the pregnancy, are there some people that will probably help you? Your husband? Yes, my husband, my sister. She's 15 years old. She's very, very helpful person for me. She helps with my babies. So we are going to the first grade with my baby. So I have my own home, like in a countryside, and everybody will help me, my husband. So I will feel very comfortable in my house, 40 kilometers from Odessa. Some clients say, why you do not work in Kiev? We can actually work in Kiev, but there are so many clients there. So the program is really long. One goes to the capital. But while they wait for their line, there is not such a line in Odessa. But we hope that we will have a line to us. But anyway, the air that you breathe now, the center of Odessa, but the air is so clean. The seaside is just in one block here. This very eco city and eco environment. For example, yesterday we were walking 15 kilometers along the seaside, the road of health. So if you need to walk here when you're pregnant for surrogate mother, you can walk here and be healthy. But in Kiev, you feel really dirty city, like dirty air. And if you want to walk, you just have to go far. I'm originally from Odessa, and I had opportunity to stay in Russia, but I can't. This is my city, this is my childhood here. Odessa is a very specific city. It's like a live person that you love. It's like, yes, like a real person. I have a very good support from the agency, very good managers, girls, and Evgeny, the logistic manager. He's very supportive. Any question is solved. And they come to doctor with me. Of course, I miss parents. I would rather see them with me. But they're distance and a little bit difficult for me. But anyway, we will see each other soon. So you can see that the surrogate mother actually want to see the parents. Not all surrogates. And not all parents want to be close to surrogates, but it's really rare. Usually the parents want to see the surrogate. So soon you will have a meeting with the parents, with ultrasound. Usually they're very emotional meetings like this. And you're like inspired to be pregnant more, to understand whom you are helping, to see the parents, to see the people that you're helping. Yes, I agree. Some parents ask, how do you test surrogate mother? How you do understand that this is the real person that has to be surrogate mother? From psychological, from medical tests. Do you remember what medical test did you do? The fact is that last year in winter, I found parents from Israel. We have 2 attempts, not successful. She had problems with her health. And I was ready. I started stimulation for the endometrium. I began to started to look myself again for parents. But she said, my doctor said, you don't have to look for yourself by yourself, but through an agency. And I found Evgeny, and just in a short time we did a hysteroscopy in the clinic. We started a new cycle, and the 6th of February I had the transfer. Just 1 month and a half, we just started very quick through your agency. Yes? So you were checked really throughout, yes? Yes, everything, blood, a lot of blood, HIV, syphilis, hepatitis, and some swabs. I have a husband and I'm sure with him, so I didn't have any infections. No problems with that. I'm very healthy. I do not drink or smoke. You can see yourself here. That's the real person, real surrogate mother. She says how it was quick and how we checked her. From our side, we are very interested ourselves that the person carrying the baby is really healthy. We do not need a lot of people just to put there as a surrogate without any tests or something. Just getting pregnant and be a surrogate. So we understand the risks of still pregnancy because of some infections, miscarriages, abortions. And that's why the more healthy the surrogate mother is, there is almost 100% guarantee that the pregnancy will be healthy until term. I'm happy that the parents had successful from our first try, because the parents had 2 tries, but with me from first time. They're really long-waited baby. I'm very glad it's like that. Yes, they were very glad that it's a positive result. They didn't believe actually. When parents have a long road to success, it's so hard to believe that it is positive. It is here. It is here, the pregnancy, and they need some time to realize that. And they will come and see you, and they will realize it right away. It's a happiness, yes. A surrogate mother. A lot of friends, they know. Only my husband's mother is not aware that I'm a surrogate mother, but everyone who knows, very supportive. Some of also want to be a surrogate, but they're not pretty healthy. And some say that I would not be a surrogate, probably not possible. Yes, I agree. To become a surrogate mother, you have to be a special, psychological, strong person. I don't know how to say it properly from psychological point of view, but very proper psychological person, like to understand the priorities and to put the boundaries. That's why some people don't go for surrogacy, because some women, I mean, if there is a possibility to help people, if somebody would say that 6 years ago there will be a surrogate mother with twice experience, I would not believe. But I saw a show on TV, 3 experienced surrogate mother, that I thought, why not me? I can do that as well. You have 2 babies or 1? Oh, one girl. So you know the gender? You know the gender because it was PGD, and they knew that it would be a girl. I have all girls. My girls, then the first surrogacy experience a girl, and now a girl again. So you have a connection with girls. Please tell. you face some not understanding, like misunderstanding of some people that you're a surrogate mother? Or no, my husband supports me. Maybe a few years ago or some time ago, I thought what other people are thinking actually, but now it's easier for me to say actually that I'm a surrogate mother. So it's easier for me to say that it's not my pregnancy, so they don't congratulate me or something. So just say that it's a surrogacy baby. So now they understand and support. I don't face strong misunderstanding. So maybe only the old people that from traditional view they don't understand, but I don't share a lot. So. On the level the help that I give on such level, I think even I would need it. If I would need it, I want to give it as well. We have a very unique surrogate mother here that truly understands why she does it, is motivated not only by material things, but I think that it must be paid, like compensated, right? But of her time, of her health, a moral compensation, everything. I had cesarean, and I asked the doctor if I want to do a natural birth. Can I do that? There are some forums, and I talk on the forums. There are surrogate mothers also after the cesarean they give a natural birth. If I do cesarean, I could not go to a program again, but I wanted to do again. I talked with my doctor. He doesn't see any contradiction for a natural birth because I want to be a surrogate mother again after this. Thank you. What are your hobbies? What are you doing in your life? What do you like? Oh, I wrote poems. I had it before, but the baby came and I just had no time. Renovation for the house and 13 years with husband, so I was pretty busy. Not enough time for that. So my husband is really good. He's building the house and he's very strict man, but he's very good man. Yeah, many ask why do surrogacy if you have a husband, but it's my business. I want to help for myself, for people, and I don't see anything bad in this. Even I talk with girls in the forums in Odessa, and everybody's asking. And I even give your coordinates for the surrogate mothers, for the candidates. So you see the example. If the surrogate mother had bad relation from agency, so would she recommend us? So the surrogate mothers have their own groups, and they are in conversations that we cannot see and hear. So if there is bad relation to a surrogate, she will never recommend the agency. But see, we are recommended because we have a good relation. So you will see what agency will not have enough surrogates because nobody will go there. I had a Russian forum and they wanted to come to you, the Russian surrogate. But Evgeny said that we don't take surrogates from other countries, from Russia. So it would be very good if you could take more surrogates from other countries. Yeah, We want to work all over the world, but we want to start at least in Ukraine. We're working for 5 years, and I just think that it just began our work, a very specific business. So one client is for 1 year, and 5 years is just a start for an agency. Such agency as us, that is assistance agency, so just a start. We can be 10 years experience. Thank you very much. Maybe have some wishes to future parents that are looking right now, watching. It is very important to see our relation to the surrogate mothers. I think we have absolutely different agency from other agency. I just don't like to name an agency, more like a center. When the surrogate mothers are even higher relation, usually they're like underestimated, but the surrogate mother is more worth. We feel that this is a person that can do more even than me, a doctor or somebody else, so she can do more. The surrogate mothers are our gold. They need the special approach. I don't understand agencies that underestimate the surrogate mother. Come here, go, like make some orders to the surrogate mothers. Don't consider them like humans. I have experience in Kiev clinic. There is some clinic. How you can say donors and surrogate mothers came. It's like a factory, They wait from 8 till 3 p.m. From 8 of the morning till 3 p.m. is so much not appropriate. One girl had spotting. She needed to be taken by the doctor first time, but they said to wait. And when I started to have relations with your agency, it's just a earth and sky difference. I really recommend to go to you because the people are very experienced and kind. For example, in the clinic where I did the transfer, I didn't feel that I'm a surrogate mother. I just was like a friend to the doctor. I had a very good connection with the doctor. She's asking right now how I am. So this doctor is always interested how I feel. I really like the doctor. I feel very emotional. I thought it will be a difficult interview, but really easy. It's not an interview, it's just a talk. Thank you very much. You had time to come. Maybe on Saturday you had some other things to do. You're welcome. I just understand. I want to know that there are some people to know that there are some people like me and the agencies like you. When is your due date? It's about 20th of October. Oh, it's my birthday. So we will see. It's not expected, how it will be. So have a good luck and good mood. So you can always call and even call me directly. Always know all the surrogates, even if they don't know me. So they know me to the end of the process, so I do the documents for the parents. So all surrogates are prepared what documents they need for the final visit. So we don't have such a situation when the surrogate mother doesn't know what to do at the 9 months. There are some agencies. I don't want to say something bad about the agencies. They can work as they want, but we have very different approach. Yeah, understand, with soul. I don't know. We just want to sleep well, and and love what you do, not just for money, and not like this, that like earning money and you do what you want. So we have different priorities. We work for result, reputation. So you will work 2-3 years in a bad way, and then you will have reviews, and it will be over. The business is over. Everything what you did is just gone nowhere. So a reputation is really important. So it's our philosophy. Thank you. Thank you too. It was very pleasant to meet you.